Peace, YouTube. This is Fleur Brown coming to you today with another topic of discussion. Peace, everyone. Peace to the east, west, the north, and the south. Let's start off with the theme music.
You better watch out, you better not cry, better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's making a list and checking it twice, gonna find out who's naughty or nice. Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. Oh, you better watch out, you better not cry, better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. Oh, you better watch out, you better not cry, better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
You gotta appreciate a Sagittarius. So peace, everyone checking in. I had to definitely come and recollect with you and really realize that the timeline collapse is all good in the hood. It is happening as we speak in real time. Many of you have actually felt the collapse in many different ways. So part of the collapse, which I find is interesting, is separating groups, people who aren't resonating with one another. You won't be allowed to be, because remember, part of the collapse, let me start over because I'm just jumping in. Normally I don't jump into topics. One of the things that you will understand, because we have a collapse that just occurred last Wednesday, the beginning. And the collapse didn't just happen all at once. It's a gradual progression. And what is occurring with the collapse is going into a straight line. So all the timelines are collapsing on top of each other, but it's keeping everyone in one frequency, the frequency that most likely resonated with them. And because of that, there's severing of ties, and it's happening at a massive rate. And what I noticed is, hey, Portugal's in the house. What I noticed is that, do I answer Twitter questions? Sometimes I post on Twitter. I don't really look at it. I just throw posts on there. I should look at my Twitter. I don't pay attention. It's too much for, I'm a little more seasoned. I'm like a throwback relic. I can only do a few things at a time. Okay, so when we have a collapse of the timeline and we're going into one, you're getting a divorce today? I'm sorry, and congratulations at the same time, Muffin. Muffin. I will say congratulations and I'm sorry at the same time, because it's one and the same. And many people are separating from the rips. Now, I noticed this last week when I was ill-tolerant. Like, it was basically whatever wasn't in alignment with me just can't be with me. It can't be in alignment with me at all. It is a almost a so overwhelming feeling of being separated from those who aren't in the same frequency that it's insane. It's insane. And that's why you're seeing so many multitude of people breaking up. So many breakups. People who you thought were couples for like 20 years, who were seemingly happy, they aren't allotted to be together because they weren't in alignment at all. Those women that were yoga instructors, who are married to corporate egotistical men who only come home and only talk about money all the time while their wives are out drinking green smoothies, talking about enlightenment, they can't be together. They won't be allowed to, because it is out of their alignment. The collapse is basically setting up shop for Saturn. Saturn Claus is coming to town, family. Saturn is coming to town, and he sees you when you're sleeping, and he knows when you're awake, and he knows when you've been bad or good. So you better be good for goodness sake. Because basically, Saturn is coming back the 18th, and because of the collapse, karma is on its way, family. I haven't seen karma come this strong ever. I haven't seen people who are dirty dogs ever paying so overtly and obviously. It started Monday, which is right when Jupiter went direct. Um, yeah, Saturn is your boo so long as you in alignment. Saturn doesn't care. It delegates the ricochet back to you. Whatever you've given out, and it doesn't matter if we don't think Saturn is seeing. We don't. It doesn't matter if you have done karma and people don't know about it. It sees all. It's the end all. It's the all-seeing eye. Saturn. Saturn is Saturn Claus. Okay, it's basically Mr. Santa who has been taking on and checking lists and seeing who's been naughty and nice. And Monday, it started. The great collapse started last Wednesday, and the karmic debts that have to do with negative and positive are all showing up. And I realized with the collapse, like I noticed that with the collapse happening Wednesday, the one thing I noticed is that there were people, I don't really hang out with many people. I have a very small group of people, and I'm very social, but I'm social in my very small enclave of people I'm around. But I noticed that I had gone out, I had gone out with a couple of people. They're friends of a friend out of town. And I was sitting there like a sore thumb. And I couldn't believe how I was intolerant to even be comfortable in that. I smell marijuana. Is somebody smoking weed? My sentient abilities have skyrocketed. Somebody's smoking marijuana and I could smell it, and they're blowing it into the screen. Can you please refrain from smoking? I could smell the marijuana. I'm heightened in awareness, and you're blowing marijuana and I could smell it. You know I'm not a chiefer. So can you just refrain from that, whoever's doing it, because you're doing it and I can smell it. Please, I don't want to be inebriated during this. Anyway, I'm serious. So you could smell it too? Yeah, somebody's smoking and I can smell it. And they're blowing it in the screen because it's going directly at me, meaning they're doing it like thinking that they're just, being like cool, smooth, whatever. Yes, they stopped. Yeah, it's weird. It's just strong. My abilities, somebody said pop pass. My abilities have skyrocketed. So now that Saturn class is coming to town, all of karmic debt because of the collapse. The collapse is exasperating the karma. All debts. I told you all debts were due. And people thought I was joking, saying, oh, Florbone's so over the top. She's so dramatic. She always thinks that someone's going to pay for something. Monday, it started Monday. People were getting arrested. There were things going down on Monday. Everything was called out. My little ones told me a secret about something. And I was like, oh, snap. Everything's coming out. Everything's coming out the closet. So last week I went out after the collapse, and I'm sitting there, and I'm only know one of the girls that I went out with. The rest are her friends, and normally just once in a while I'll step out if I want to go out and just be somewhat social. I'll go out, and I'm sitting there, and I felt such a strong different vibration from the people around me. It was insane. It was so overt that I couldn't sit that long with the vibration. I didn't want to. I rarely do you see me be rude unless someone's egregious and just nasty. Then I just, I'm unapologetic. If someone's egregious, I'll just leave. But it's somebody I know. So, but they're sitting there talking, and I can see their energetic fields, and I can see the brown and dirt. Like it almost looked like their energetic field was dusty. Really dusty, like just muddy around their heads. And I could see each person, and they were high as heck. They couldn't sit there. These are people who couldn't sit there and not be high. They were not high like drugs. They do that. Remember that stuff I told you they gave me that time of chocolate? It's called Colorado candy. In certain states, it's legal. What is it? Dispensaries have them. What is it called? It's what is it? TLC. It's a TLC. It tells you where Florbone's at. What is it called? THC. Is it THC? I think it's THC. They make candies and pop rocks and lollipops and chocolate. Listen to this sick world. They're making drugs and they're putting it in candy. They're putting it in candy. This is what I'm saying, how diabolical the Matrix is. Okay, so these are drugs for adults, right? Why are you making these drugs edibles? Thank you. Why are you putting drugs in things that are for children, like edibles, like candy, things that children like? You're not putting them in like, caviar or, like you would never see it in like beluga or in some sort of like adult meal. They put it in candy. Anyway, that's a judgment. It is. But anyway, they were all lifted off of Colorado candy. And I'm sitting there like, why am I here? Why am I here? I really didn't like the people. And not only didn't I like them, I didn't like the person I was with. I don't like her anymore. It's it's this crazy, family. I rarely am that strong in aversion. Normally I just tolerate things just to tolerate them. I didn't like her. And I don't like her anymore. I don't like the vibration. I don't like sitting. I know it's crazy. I didn't like being around someone who's totally out of sync and doesn't really like me. They like what I represent, but they don't really like me. They're not feeling me. Why was I rocking with them? Because originally it was fine. It was chill. Remember, these aren't my friends, these are her friends. But normally, before the collapse, I could sit down with someone comfortably and be okay, even in their own, in their own vibration. Very non-judgmental. I'm a Sag. We can sit amongst many people. As long as they're not robbing people, selling drugs and things like that. Those are the things that I won't sit in. But I'm saying these are regular people. These are healthy societal people. It's not people that are like, so out of bounds of, reprehensible behavior. They're regular people. But I did not like this person anymore, and their vibration didn't match. It was so strong, I had zero tolerance to it. And it has to do with the collapse. We're not alike, and I didn't notice it as much until after the collapse. We have nothing in common. We used to have things in common based on my lack of self-awareness, or maybe the versions of myself that merged aren't in sync with the version of her which is here. So basically now, because I've merged with myself, with all the aspects of Flurbrun over here, Flurbrun over here, Flurbrun over there, Flurbrun up there, Big into all the flurs that have merged with each other. The fleur that I become based on me solidifying who I am in fullness and holisticness did not match this being. And it didn't match that, and it didn't match the vibration of the people that person was around. And it wasn't that, there isn't any hate. Listen to this, let me explain something. If I'm not in sync with someone, I don't have to hate them. Remember that. There are people that aren't my cup of tea. I don't hate them. I don't send them non-well wishes. I wish everybody well. That's one thing I do. And it would be fake of me to be around people that I don't like, just for point, just for strategy. And there was somebody else that, was, and let me say this publicly too before I go on to this. I have many, many people who I come in contact with, and few people that I call actually my friends. And remember, I told you, one thing I say, if I call you a friend, it means a lot to me. Friendship to me is more of a choice than it is a life sentence. I have some of the most amazing women I've been a party to since I was a little girl, since I was in kindergarten. So I know what friendship is. My mother had an amazing friendship with her girlfriends. I know what that is. But I also know what friendship isn't. And I know friendship is about well wishes. I know it isn't about parasiting off of people. I know it isn't about being around someone because you feel they have status, but you don't like them and you want to feed off of them, so you'll be around them and call them your friend because you just want to be in that light. I know what friendship is. Okay, so I bring this up to say because after the collapse, I was intolerant of anyone who I know isn't in sync with me at all. And I know there was another young lady who was part of my group, and I did not like her anymore. I didn't like her behavior. I didn't like how she was with other people. I didn't like how she used to parasite off of people's emotions and utilize a victim status in order to lure people in order to take advantage of them financially, or try to make them follow within whatever she was doing that week. I'm out of sync with that. And because I merge with all aspects of myself, I'm more holistic. So the part of Fleur that was more splintered before the collapse would allot for certain things and just be okay to just sit there and maybe allow someone to be insipidous around just so I was keeping proper PR. But let me reintroduce myself. I'm done. Like I'm there. I've collapsed in my timeline, and I have stay-to-itiveness, and I'm more holistic, and I value my own peace of mind. And now I will just nicely and gratefully sever ties based on the fact that if something isn't for me, then I agree it isn't for me. And if something is so out of alignment with me, I will gladly sever it and just walk forward. And I suggest you all do the same. The collapse did it for me. It's crazy because normally, and I didn't realize, I was like, did I change? And I realized, yes, I did. We all changed. We all became more of who we were. We became more holistic, and the collapse only allowed for us to see from a full view, panoramic and everything. So it isn't that you're seeing straight ahead anymore. You're seeing over here. You're seeing over here. You're seeing behind your head. You're seeing there. And it would be fake of me to be friends with people that I know don't like me or I'm out of alignment with. That's fake to me. So it's interesting that during this collapse, the way that I feel, because this is my own personal journey that I'm sharing with you, I've noticed with everyone environmentally and socially, it is becoming an absolute, hey, Jose. Oh, yes, please put a like, everyone who's in here, please. I appreciate it. You've been putting likes on my videos, and I don't think I noticed before YouTube was noticing me. They notice me. They usually just mess with my channel, but they've been being nice. YouTube has actually been okay with me since I've gotten more likes. Maybe they just thought, I don't know what they thought. It's a what is it called? It's like this, it's like a, whatever you call it, like a wave system. They follow that. It's AI anyway. I don't take anything. There isn't any real people behind YouTube. It's all AI and probably one reptilian or insectilian at the top delegating. So I appreciate when you put likes when you come to my video. Anyway, let's continue. So Saturn and Aquarius is coming into town. Monday, I've noticed an institution of all karma starting to show up residual-wise. And if you aren't noticing the collapse, start to notice things on your body that are changing. Algorithms, thank you. Fidgy girl knows me. Thank you. Algorithms, that's what it is. What was I saying? What I noticed is that Monday, I started to see the collapse of old regimes and things starting to show up with residuals of people getting karma, like paying for crimes that they did. Any little thing that they did, even if it's something slight, it was starting to show up. All truths are coming out. And what you will notice on your body, on your physical body, this is one thing that I definitely know that is happening just to me. Where's Jose? I mean, Carlos. Carlos was talking to me. I don't want to blow his, because Carlos said this in Cypher. What we were noticing is people were getting, remember I got a burn on my arm, my hand? It's kind of going away now. See that burn? I got it on the grill. Now, when I went into the ether, I had a remembrance of burning myself, not on a grill, but on a stove in another life, in another timeline. So now we're starting to get stigmatas, or that if you had a mark that you got in another timeline from maybe you went surfing and you fell, or you hit your head, or you have a scar on your foot from another timeline, it's showing up on your body. Carlos mentioned this with something. I don't want to mention it because, we're on public media, because he said it in our private group. But he said something that someone he knew had something on her hand, her arm. And I thought it was like a poltergeist or something like that. And then I started to realize when I went up and saw, and we had a remembrance of burning myself on a stove and not a grill, I was like, oh, snap, we're getting, because we collapsed timelines, we're actually getting, if you had a mark or something happened to you in the other timelines, it's starting to show up. You ever watch Back to the Future? Watch Back to the Future. Back to the Future, Like when they altered certain parts of the past, it would change something futuristically. Now take in quantum physics, quantum entanglement. We've merged with all aspects of the other timelines, meaning we're getting the slow bleed over from those other timelines into our lives. It's not all at once. I know this for a fact. As the time we're collapsing now, we're still collapsing. It's going to take a while for all the merges to solidify fully. So now you're starting to see aspects. Listen, family, I had nega hair. Look at my hair. I don't dye my hair. Look at my hair. I had lots of nega hair here. It's disappearing. Listen to me, family. I had nega. I was excited. My silver hair that was coming in, it was looking so pretty. I really appreciated it because I take it as wisdom. My hair is starting to go back to being dark. I haven't dyed it. I don't dye my hair. The nega hair is disappearing, as if the other versions of myself didn't have it. You can see, look at my videos and see my nega hair before the timeline collapse. Watch it here. You can see my hair. My hair is always the same. So you can actually verify with me based on the fact that you see me all the time. And you always see me natural. So you never see me like doing anything. I do zero dyes in my hair. I don't put anything in my hair. So you always see my hair as it is. It's disappearing. And it's not just disappearing. Some of my features are changing. There was a morning, listen, family. I woke up one morning and you're noticing this discernment is stronger? Absolutely, Claire. I woke up one morning and, I have the same body as far as I know. And then I woke up one morning and the way that my body was shaped looked different. Almost like I was working out. I used to work out all the time, family. If you know Fleurbron, I dance. I'm a dancer. I do Latin dance. I dance hip hop. I'm a dancer. I used to dance every morning, like 2 hours a day, every day. Many of you know me. That's all I did for like most of the time you knew me. I was always going dancing. I haven't done it for a while. I've been a little, chilling and I haven't done it. I have to go back to dancing because I want to now, but I wasn't doing it. I woke up and I was looking at my hips and my stomach. I was like, wait a second, I look like I've been dancing, and I wasn't dancing. My body shaped. It was only one more. I know, it's nice, right? The other versions of yourself kept yourself up. wait. The other perversions of yourself kept up. So you benefit from them working out and you not. Listen, I'm okay with that. I like that version. I woke up, I looked at my body, I was like, wow. That's cool. I'm sure it's not nice the other way around. If you do work out and you're working up and you're waking up with like a beer tummy because you've been drinking in the other timelines. But I did notice that there were variances showing up with the collapse that were bleeding over into my basic life. Stigmatas. I got a burn. Look at this. I have these marks, which are the burns. I got these burns from, I know I'm burning myself. I don't burn myself, family. This is what I'm saying. Those things are showing up after the collapse. I have burns, these 2 burns from incense. Why do I have them? They're probably from other versions of myself. And what seemingly I'm doing in this particular merge version of self, the other versions of whatever was on me are showing up. You rebuke the beer. She said she rebukes the beer belly. I rebuke it. So let's go back to Saturn clause. How is this all relative? Okay. How is this all relative? And hold on. Yes, please put a like on the video. I appreciate it. Hold on. And this is also why we have the collapse. Hold on. No, I have another song. I love songs. I love giving you songs. So you already heard Santa Claus is coming to town, but wait, what happened? What happened here? Here we go. So what I was saying, we noticed that Santa Claus is coming to town. Now Saturn is coming home in September the 18th, right before all this craziness with the Mayan calendar going into 2012, which is the Hebrew version, which is going off the solar year rather than the Gregorian year. We got that coming on. We got the crazies going to Area 51. Millions of people trying to go to Area 51 to find aliens that have never been there, haven't been there for over 50, 60 years because they relocated to a town near you underground. Then you have the big event that's supposed to happen with, craziness World War Shri happening over in September as well. So it's interesting that all these things, when Saturn is coming home, is starting to, you got, what's his name that just killed himself, which he really didn't kill himself. He got removed from the jail, got and probably put in one of his underground bunkers. He was removed from the jail prison at the time. So you have a lot of these things coming up when karma's starting to play. But what you're noticing with the timeline collapse is exactly this. Listen. Listen, you can tell I'm a mommy and I came from a teacher.
These things is not like the others. One of these things doesn't belong. Can you tell which thing is not like the other by the time I finish this song?
So, what does that song mean? What's crazy? Whatever the timeline did, I must have a little one in another, because all I'm listening to is like little songs like I used to listen when my little one. So apparently the version of myself that has a little boy, there's a version of myself that has a son already. He's little. Why? Because I keep dreaming about him like he's in my house. Why am I dreaming about a little boy? And I keep playing these songs, little baby songs. My little ones are grown now. They're getting older. I don't play baby songs in the house. Also, my mom is an elementary school teacher. Big up to my mommy, who also taught special ed as well as I did. So big up to the teachers in the house, all the educators in the house. Big up to y'all. But all the songs, you remember that song from Sesame Street? One of these things is not like the other. And why I played that song is because you are starting to collapse into the straight line of your frequency, and anything that isn't like you won't be able to be in your world, because we're so straight. We're collapsing with all versions of ourselves. So you start to get you're starting to get stigmatas on your body. Anything that happened to you in those other timelines is going to merge and permeate on you, good, bad, and indifferent. Okay, so versions of yourself are starting to collapse into yourself. So you're becoming more holistic. Your point of view, your peripheral should be but a Foucault. Like your panoramic view right now, I can see from all angles. Like I said, I removed somebody from my life recently that I knew didn't like me. There was a young lady who was part of my group or something. She didn't like me. She didn't like me for weeks. And she didn't like me so much I could feel it. And I could feel her concentrated thought that she didn't like me. And one day I was just like, you know what? Why do I want people around me that don't like me, that don't want to be a party to me, but just want to say that they know me, and just maybe parasite of the fact that people can say they verify that they're rocking with me. Let me make a public let me make a public statement. Please put likes on my video before I make the public statement. I'm so silly. If you don't like anyone, if you don't like me, a PSA, thank you. If you don't like me, or you don't like anyone here, or you don't like someone, friendship is a choice. Don't be around them and don't fake the funk. I know when people don't like me because I could feel their concentrated thought. See, I'm heightened in awareness, so I could feel people on all different timelines. I can feel them. So they think that they're getting away with it because maybe they didn't say something publicly or they didn't say something outwardly, but I could feel like they don't like me. If you don't like me, don't be a party to me. And don't be surprised if I don't want you in my life. Don't be surprised if I remove you from my life based on the fact that why would I want someone around me who does not like me? They don't respect me, and they're only being around me to utilize me for whatever reasons. So that's all I'm saying. I wish everybody well. This is one thing you will always know with me. I could care less if I don't like someone. I don't have to be evil and, wish them nastiness. I can wish them well from a distance. But I'm one of the ones that you will know, and that's how I keep it real. That's as real as I get. If I don't like you, and if you don't like me, I'm okay for us to be in different arenas. And I actually want that, because friendship is a choice, number one. And I'm out of alignment with keeping enemies closer. See, that's a whole matrix thing that will make you keep insipidous people in your groups, saying, oh, keep friends close and enemies closer. That's insanity. You will leave people in your circles that will hurt you, that will try to vie against you, and wait for an opportunity to do something horrific to you. That's it. So let me put that, because I know the young lady is probably watching. I don't like you. You don't like me. It's okay. There isn't anything reason. There's no public reason for it. People don't like each other. People are out of alignment. And I collapse with myself. And apparently versions of myself and me and you don't rock in other versions. So that's probably all it is. No love. Well, there isn't any love there, but I wish them well. That's as real as you get. That's my thing. My thing is always be around people who are respectful to you, who honor you, who want well for you, and if in fact there is anything that is out of alignment, that it's addressed, and then and just either resolved or just you let it go. That's it. So, I had to say that because I know my big up to my admins. My admins didn't deal with so much on groups. And I have to say this a lot of times because what happens usually is if someone's removed from like my groups for doing something or being a certain way, the first thing they do is they make a video saying how horrific and how fake I am. This is how real I am. If I don't like you, I just don't like you. And I don't want somebody being part of my group who doesn't like me. That's just it. It's as simple as that. That's as real as it gets. So I wanted to say that. People do it all the time. People have people around them that don't like them, that are fake. It's being fake to be friends with someone you don't like. That's fake. To me, that's more fake. To be around someone just for public look. There isn't anything. Friendship is a choice. And sometimes you're going to like people and sometimes you aren't. And if you don't like them, then you shouldn't be around them. And you shouldn't let them be around your groups. One thing I won't do is let people around me who don't like me or nor my children. Okay? And I had to cut somebody else off too. Whatever Fleur Brune was in her other timelines, she is ill-tolerant. The version of me right now, I'm ill-tolerant in this timeline. The collapse, whatever, because I'm more easy breezy cover girl. I really am. I'm a little geeky too, so I'm a little, Waverly and so on. Don't patronize, right? I agree, Connie. I'm a little, the version of Fleur Brune that was splintered in the aspect previous to the collapse, I was kind of like, I don't want to, is it really that serious? But whatever happened after the collapse, Fleur Brune is like this. You don't like me? Bam, you're out. You disrespect me? Bam, you're out. I have zero tolerance. Whatever version of the person that I was in other timelines, she's a lot more stringent and she's righteous though. She's righteous. Whoever collapsed with me is still righteous because I can feel it in their thought patterns. I know it's like merging. I feel like Sybil. Sybil's merging with all the versions of herself. And I'm sure you're all feeling it because it just isn't me. It isn't just me because I'm seeing it happen on a massive global level too. It's versions of yourself that become ill-tolerant, plus the fact that we're going into the same line of frequency. So if I'm not matching with the person because they're not in the same frequency, then it's just not someone you can be around. Anyone. It's not just me. I share with you my personal journey. Like I had to sever, I had to sever ties with the Nazi too, because he was absolutely doing something heinous. And he was, of course, High Hitler again, doing his tyranny of hate and venom and being abusive, and I had to totally sever all ties with him anyway, because I feel like if you're heinous, you need to be with other heinous people like yourself. I will close the door and hear the knocking on the door and the banging. You need to deal with whatever you're going on with your life, but that isn't something I'm going to allow in my and especially if I'm doing naughty things too, family. Listen, I'm not beyond karma. I'm not beyond karma. Because Father Karma's coming with Saturn. Santa Claus is coming. I'm not beyond it. When I do naughty things, I rarely do naughty things anymore. When I was younger and very non-self-aware, I would do little insidious things. I wouldn't, little white lies or things that were just a little naughty or being a little, a little bit insidious. I used to do things like that. But now in my seasoned state of being, it's unnecessary. Like even with food. Since the collapse, I won't touch food anymore that is out of sync with my body. I won't touch it anymore. That's another part of the collapse. Whatever bothered me before, or foods that I would sometimes touch because I liked it. I'm allergic to soy, so I can't touch anything with soy. But sometimes I would eat things that had a little bit of soy. I'm intolerant of it. I'm intolerant of anything that is out of my frequency. So it means, and it actually solidifies, we're going in that straight line. We're actually literally going into the line of frequency that disallows for us to be waverly or to be on the fence. We're basically shooting in one shot. I don't know if that sounds right. Shooting in one shot and staying in that alignment. So I wanted to say that Saturn is coming. Karma is being actually instituted in a very balanced way. You're starting to see relationships because we got the twinning phenomenon that is on fire. And big up to the twin flames that actually I sat and watched twin flames meet. This is after we did our beautiful twin flame ritual, our manifestation. I couldn't believe it, family. That's another thing that happened. Since the timeline collapsed, so much is amazing. It's so beautiful. I actually sat at a table and watched two twin flames meet, and I know both of them. And I knew what it was. And I told Thomas is gonna hate me for saying this. It was Thomas. So Thomas is sitting at the table. We're talking about the timelines collapsing. He's doing a diagram. We're looking at the table. He says, hey, I know this girl and she knows you. I was like, hey, yeah. He was like, I invited her to coffee. I was like, yo, cool. She said, she said she knows she loves you. I was like, who's this? He said, I think I could say, because I'm not going to say her last name, Lisa. I was like, Lisa? I was so excited because she's so cool. She's like the coolest woman in the world. She rides a motorcycle. She's like the ultimate goddess. She's like, our children grew up together. Our little girls grew up together. So she rides a motorcycle. She's like the coolest one. So he didn't know her and he didn't know I knew her. So listen to this, twin flames underway. Now, I told Thomas I did a twin flame thing. He's not into all that. He just, okay. He was like, that makes sense. He said it makes sense, but he's not into it. I said, yeah, do you don't feel like this residual of twin flaming? He was like, I don't know. He was like, I know you're telling the truth because I gave him the explanation of what twin flames is. Don't you know she came to the table? She was so enamored by them. They met at a biker show, not a seedy biker show, like one of these really high-end biker shows. He actually met her. He didn't know I knew her. Thomas and me know each other. She sat at the table and all she could do, she's not even this type of person. She was just like, I really like you, Thomas. And he was like, she's going to be my wife. I was like, wait a second. And then he said, it was odd we met because we weren't supposed to meet. It was a twinning, a super duper twinning right in front of me, right before my eyes, unfolding, twins. Then they were talking about similar things. He said he remembered her in a past life. He remembered being married to her. It was crazy. I went to take pictures. Thomas wouldn't let me take pictures for y'all. He doesn't want me to take pictures. I wanted to show you. It was so beautiful. They were twinning right in front of me. Twin flames is on and popping. And for anyone who doesn't believe it, sit down long enough and you will see. Twin flames are coming upon each other by chance. They didn't even know they knew me. That's how I knew it was a twinning, because I did the ritual on Friday. And then all of a sudden we're going out for coffee and he didn't know, she didn't know. And they sat, and I was like the interim to solidify. I needed to witness it. I had to see it because I'm acknowledging twin flames. And she looked at him like she had loved him for centuries. He loved everything about her is so right for him. And listen to this. One is an O negative and one is an O positive. So they're polar equal opposites. It's great because we all know our blood types. I hang out with a lot of OGs. Big up to the OGs in the house. Thomas is an O positive like me, so we always make jokes because a lot of O's will tend to hang around each other. Same roosts, if you start to look at your group, your collective, you will notice that you only hang with your similar roosters. Positive roost tends to hang with other positive roosters. Negative roosters tend to hang with other negative roosters. But noticing that negative and positive roosters, as far as female and male, are starting to come together, especially in the O's. So they're total opposite polars, but they match in as far as O's. It's amazing. So big up to the twin flames in the house. It's happening. It's on and popping. I hope you acknowledge it. Don't fight the twinning because it will happen, or you'll be like the Skeksis fighting your twin flame as you're merging. Oh, Kiki, I can see your Kiki. Big up to Kiki. I see her. Kiki, I see you're I'm probably on the live. I see you in I see your message. I never used to get messages during my lives. I'm excited. So, all right, family, I know I'm gonna sit it. So Saturn class is coming to town the 18th. Karma is over, over the top. Whatever. Now, karmically, now that's why people were afraid. That's why when I talked about the collapse, there were people who were scared. Now I know why they were scared, because I didn't know with the twinning. I mean, sorry, twinning is on my mind. Big up to my twin flame. Um, big up to my twin flame. Twinning, I'm saying it again. Must be my twin flame is thinking about me. That's crazy. Sometimes I'm picking up sounds, I'm picking up thoughts of others. My telepathy is off the charts. Like my clairaudio, clairsentient. Then last night I was having contact again. I heard the cicadas again. I haven't heard that for a while. It's off the charts. Anyway, Saturn is in full force. Everybody was people who were afraid of the collapse. It's because they were actually knowing that they were about to pay all debts. All debts are due. And also, why I played that song is why is one of these things is different than the other, and the separation. I personally think we're getting drive-bys, and you won't be allowed to be with people who have to be dealt with. So part of you separating yourself from these, either you're the insidious one or they're the insidious one. Part of you separating yourselves is so that karma can be instituted fully and clearly. So there aren't any human shields. You won't be allowed to be around somebody who's a full-on drug addict and you're sober. You won't be allowed to be with someone who likes to mess around with people's men and is insidious sexually. If you aren't, you won't be allowed to be around someone who is out of alignment with conscious decisions and is very materialistic when you're really quite balanced and naturopathic and holistic. You won't be allowed to be around someone who doesn't love their children, who is egregious and abusive to their own children, and you're very loving of your own. You won't be allowed to be with a man who isn't honoring of your heart space and doesn't love you and just utilizes you as a place to just, or someone to just give him love and isn't reciprocating the same. You won't be allowed to be egregious in your mind, body, and spirit, and then be around someone who's loving and cares for you and takes care of you. That is done, family. I'm seeing it. I'm 1000%. You know, Florber, one thing, I'm a Sag. I have to vet everything out. I'm 1000% based on my own. I'm a good barometer for what's happening energetically. I'm a good barometer because I vet things out. I'm pretty rational. I'm drug-free, alcohol-free, except when I pop the bottle on on our manifestation on Friday. That was so funny. I popped the bottle. I didn't know it was gonna explode. That's like a bad porn. So it was funny because you could tell I don't do that porn. I was my twin flame thought that was so funny. I didn't know it was gonna explode. Anyway, that's in my mind. I'm noticing everywhere that I'm going that severing of ties are with people who are totally imbalanced. There isn't any more of that opposites attract. That was kind of like the bad boy and the good girl, the drug addict and the sober one. That's gone because the drive-bys are happening. And in order for the institution of karma, you won't be allowed to be with the person who are about to be sentenced. There are people being sentenced karmically for doing diabolical things. The people, and you will see, I'm seeing it. I haven't ever in my life. I've lived on the planet for a while, family. Big up to everyone in the house. Please put a like on the video if you're coming in the house. If you enjoy this content, I appreciate it. But you won't be allowed to be around people who are insidious, or you, if you're the insidious one, you won't be allowed to be with that wonderful sea star who takes care of you, who loves you even though you're dipping and dabbing all over the place. You won't have her anymore because it won't happen. She can't be in your life because you're insidious. So it's not just us being great, wonderful people. It's us, if we're negative, diabolical people, that people in our lives will naturally be taken out. Now, let me say this. One thing I'm noticing too, if you are not choosing, listen, family, I'm being honest. That's why I said I chose to get rid of people. Listen, I'm severing ties like I haven't ever before. And it's not just being, waverly or, oh, this person is, no. I'm severing ties with people I know are totally out of alignment with me and aren't healthy for me. Totally. If you aren't doing it, When Saturn, Santa Claus comes, the way that he institutes the karma is the way that that person will be severed out of your life won't be in the way you want them to be. You will have something tragic happen to sever them totally out of your lives, to the point where it would be something that you wouldn't want. So it's better to choose your own path than to have your path forced upon you. We're going in the straight line. Whatever frequency you were in, that's what you're going to be in. The collapse has happened. It's happening as we speak. I am watching and observing things happen in my lifetime that I wouldn't even think could be plausible and possible. This is the most, I haven't seen this much. It's not even supernatural. It's super duper natural. It's literally watching as everything collapses we fold into ourselves, which I'm okay with. I think we need that so we don't have splintered aspects of ourselves just going over here, going over there, because you have aspects of your other life where you're living in another decision that you made. This is the part that's amazing. Now, the collapsing on top of yourself is what may cause you to see better from a more panoramic point of view. You ever go into panoramic theater? It's so amazing. I've done it with the little ones, my little ones. We go in especially here in Disney World. They do a lot of theaters where you do panoramic. You ever stand in a panoramic theater and it's almost like you feel like you're in, it's like in a God kind of field, because you're standing there and you see the theater and you hear the sound all over, but you can see everything from front, back, side, above, everything above you. You can see everything around you. You can see. It's the most amazing, amazing feeling. That's why panoramic theaters are it's almost like I said, it feels like God, like looking from an oversoul kind of point of view. That's what the collapsing into yourself feels like. My panoramic view is off the charts. I haven't been this sound. I don't think I ever was this sound. I'm sound, family. I'm so sound that I can hear everything. Like literally I can smell everything. I can see everything. I can feel everything. I know what's right for me. I know what isn't. There isn't any guessing anymore. There isn't any more not knowing. I know. It's like over knowing. It's amazing. And I want you to understand and understand this is what you wanted. This is exactly what you wanted. All of us wanted this. The parts of ourselves that were fractured were causing disharmony in our lives because we weren't living our fullest and greatest to our greatest potential based on the fact that there were too many parts of ourselves that were compartmentalized in other realms, in other forms of what we chose previously. So you're taking all of that beautiful knowing of that choice that, okay, so some of you chose to go to college right away, right? But there was a point in your life where you could have gone backpacking in Europe, or you could have gone and done like work abroad, like Habitat of Humanity. You wanted to do that too, but your parents maybe kind of pushed you into going to college right away. But in another life, you chose to go to Central and South America and do or Africa and do missionary work. You chose that. So what happens in this life, because you're the one who was the collegiate who finished college and is working the 9 to 5, the aspect of yourself that did the opposite, they're merging with you right now. So now you're feeling the need to leave or go abroad, or quit your job and just start to help animals. You're starting to become more of the other being that became that did exactly what you wanted to do. That version of yourself that made the choice to go and do exactly that, to go and do those things that you wanted to do that maybe at that splintered in time, you chose not to. So she's merged with you. He's merged with you right now. So now you're starting to feel that way. You're starting to feel because the aspect of you that did that is merged with you. So now you have that in you. Do you see what I mean? It's very, very beautiful. The timeline collapse, the only time it isn't beautiful is when you've so been out of alignment and you knew you were so out of alignment that you chose things that you knew were dastardly, and in other versions of yourself, it might have been other versions that were more righteous. So there's sort of like when you merge together, you'll automatically give yourself karma. So for those, what I'm saying is that, let's say there's an aspect of you who knew, okay, I'm talking to some men that are a little more dastardly, a little more diabolical. Could be women too. I'll use a male's example. You knew in this life by selling drugs was horrific. You never sat well in it, right? You knew that that was something that was horrible and that you were hurting other people and that you were ruining people's families and actually you were killing people too based on your choices, but you wanted the money, right? You wanted the money at the time, and the money gave you the was the catalyst to why you would choose that, even in your understanding that that was wrong. But the other version of yourself who knew it was wrong chose different. They chose to be an advocate for people who are drug addicts and alcoholics. They actually maybe even worked in a job that was counseling those who did that. Okay? So now during the convergence, you're merging with that aspect of yourself who was the counselor of people who were victims of what you did. And you are now having karma right away because you have to resolve that. That's too extreme. That's extreme version of the aspect of yourself. So now karmically you may end up getting arrested or chumped up, or you may have to deal with somebody who's a drug dealer who just robbed you or hurt you or killed somebody you knew. That's the result. That's the karma that comes along with that. It's extreme based on the fact that you did something diabolical, and in another life you're resolving it, but you're merging. So the person who you are in another life wouldn't have tolerated the person that you are now. So there has to be some karmic resolvement in order to allow for justice to be served, but also to have an understanding of what that means. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. So you're going to start seeing people like that diabolical bastard. What's his name again? Silverstein? Bernstein, what's his name? I always forget that man's name because he's not relative. Bernstein Bear, what's his name? Crazy man, Silverstein, the bastard that was raping those little girls. What's his name? I call his Bernstein Bear. Let me see what Epstein. I'm so crazy. I am. Epstein. I don't know why I call him Bernstein Bear. Got problems. Forgive me for my sins. But okay, Epstein. This bastard has been raping women and little girls, along with all of the dirty bastards, all the royal family, all of them, all these political figures, all of them were complicit in this behavior. All of them have been, listen, I don't care if they didn't participate. If you're going to a man's house and you're seeing little 12-year-old girls giving massages and blowjobs to grown men who are in political positions, or any grown man, that you're complicit. You are the problem. So I don't care if you did it or not. You are just the dog. You are the dirty, diabolical pig that is just as bad as Epstein, who is okay with being a pig. Now, you can't tell me that Epstein during all of this knew it was wrong. He didn't know it was wrong. He knew it was wrong. And probably at the beginning, before he even started to do this, he always had that feeling. It's almost like having sex with someone that you know you shouldn't have sex with. It's a guilt. It's a guilty feeling. It's like it's in your stomach. People feel guilt in their stomach. Your stomach is your brain. Remember that. Most people think your brain is up here. No, your stomach, your gut is your brain. That's why they mess with your stomach, because it messes with your brain. Your brain is in your stomach. Your stomach is the first realm of intelligence that is able to overstand and understand and actually interact with your body to feed in information based on whatever you get in intel-wise from digesting something in your body. And digestion comes in many different ways, okay? So he knew it was wrong. He knew when he was engaging with little girls, he probably got sick in his stomach or had to go to the bathroom every time. So now he's sitting in prison and thinking to himself, how did he get himself? You know how you got yourself in that. Now, I don't care if they took him to an underground facility, because personally, you already know, family, gut feelings. Exactly, gut feelings. You know, family, we know that in this matrix, money counts. That man has paid to get himself removed and put into an underground facility. And even if they did kill him, based on the fact that they didn't want him to disclose anymore, it didn't matter, because he won't ever, regardless if he's hidden or he was taken out, he won't be on the surface of this planet doing any more of the dirt without some sort of karmic residual. Okay, so regardless of how it happens, so people are like, oh, well, he's free. If living underground isn't fun. There are beings underground that nobody wants to live near. If you have to run underground at a time where there isn't any reason for you to go underground, that is a life sentence in itself, because he won't ever be able to rear his head on the surface without losing his life or being put back into prison. Okay, so it doesn't matter how that shows up. That in itself is karmically set. And believe me, even when he gets underground, being sick, being isolated, and also we don't know what's going on in the other realms of other groups, because a lot of a lot of the grays, certain kind of subterranean grays and other beings are under the ground. You don't know what he's going to have to go on. And if he was taken out in a heinous way, he would have. That was his karma. So regardless, it is what it is. But you know when you do wrong. And you know when you do wrong. And I don't say wrong in a way that could be could be seen right from other angles. I'm talking about wrong when you're hurting animals, okay? And you don't care. Or you're hurting people's families and you don't care. I'm talking about those people who go around. I'm talking about even the thotteries. Thottarinas. The thottarinas who go around hurting people's families. This woman had the audacity, and this is somebody I know. This woman had slept with this woman's husband. This is another. That's why I say karma's online. This woman's husband, and he had children already. The woman herself was like a, what is it, single white female? I don't know if you guys, many of you millennials, I don't know if you saw this. Single white female, meaning she was obsessed with the woman and she wanted everything that the woman had. That's usually why people sleep with people's husbands and families, because they want what the other person has. And she did this. The man ended up leaving his family, right? Having a child, illegitimate child with this woman, right? And he ended up leaving her anyway, the thottarina. So the thottarina who slept with the man, got him. He ended up leaving her for another woman, okay? Because dirt, you do dirt, you get dirt. Remember that. How you got him is where you lose him. How you got her is how you lose him. It's always going to happen that way. So he goes on, he moves on, thottarina. Thottarina has now she lives an absolutely horrific life. She doesn't have anything. She has a child illegitimately by a married man. And she has to see him with another woman with her child. Listen out, with her child. So she tells the little girls that she hurt. I think the little girl, maybe a boy and a girl. It's a boy and a girl. Boy and a girl no, it's boy and girl. Because that's okay, I don't want to say names because that was boy and a girl. She has a chance to talk to the children and say sorry to the children for doing that to your family. But she doesn't apologize to the girlfriend who she slept with and messed up her family system. Now remember, everything's relative. You never lose anything that's good for you. If you're a good-hearted person, you don't lose anything that's good for you. You lose things that are negative for you. So it's actually, she did the other woman a favor, because a man, if he could be wavered so easily by a thottery, he isn't deserving of a good woman. He's deserving of the thottery, right? So she apologized to the children, hasn't apologized to the mother, but at the same point, her excuse was, thottery, is that her mother did the same thing, so she ended up doing the same thing. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. So there's some sort of acknowledgement even to those who are not in the awake, aware community, subliminally, because for her to apologize anyway, to even acknowledge it, because this is a thottery. Thotteries like to just justify what they do. Well, he wouldn't have came to me if he wasn't unhappy. I've heard it all. He wouldn't have came to me if it was all gravy in that arena. You know what I mean? That's their excuse. Or, I need my needs. I wasn't trying to take him. I was just trying to, whatever. Even that thottery in her unaware state of being is trying to resolve her karma, because she's apologizing because she knows that Saturn is coming to give her a present. And remember, let me play this song for you guys again. Maybe you need to. I'm going to bring the energy back. Wait. Let me play this song for you again. Here you go. Here we go. Let's sing together. Saturn is coming.
You better watch out, you better not cry, better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's
is coming. Saturn is coming. And we're starting to see what Saturn brings. Everybody's trying to resolve their karma. Karma's coming. Saturn has presents for everybody. And it will be based on what you've brought since Saturn has been away from home. Have you been naughty or have you been nice? And remember, Saturn is showing up in this timeline in the way he is. But why we're getting all the residuals of all the times that Saturn came about in all those other timelines is because we collapsed timelines. So Saturn is not coming by just one. He's doing a multiverse drive-by. Saturn is doing the multiverse drive-by. So all the dastardly aspects of yourself in all the timelines, whatever you've been doing in those other timelines, if you were naughty mostly in all those timelines, when Saturn shows up, because you've merged with your panoramic self, he's going to institute karma in a way that's applicable to the type of oversoul being, the zest of who you are. So Santa Claus is coming to town, and we're starting to see the residuals of what happens when he comes. And if you've been naughty or nice, and how you've basically, shown up in the peripheral of this timeline and the others, you will be delegated. It's not Bernstein anymore. Oh, it's not it's not Bernstein, it's Bainstein. I know the Mandela effect. Please put a like on my video. I appreciate it. I appreciate if you put a like on my video, and really that tells me that you're down with my concepts of the unfolding of all. And even on social media, I noticed that people who were aligned with each other in social medias, listen, in the pseudo-conscious community, they're coming for each other's heads. I haven't seen, listen, I see the drive-bys going on in social media. I think you've seen it. For y'all especially from the brown community, have you seen? You all see it. I've never seen anything like it. It's so bad. I think people may lose their life. That's how bad it is. It's getting to the point where it's so egregiously over the top. I'm like, wow. Yeah, it's not, and for me to say that, it's bad. I've never seen that. I saw Tommy Sotomayor, that crazy man himself, going and saying some disgusting, he was cursing Ashe Divine. I've never seen anything like that in my life. The way that he talked to her, oh my God. Did you see that? I didn't even know what was going on in social media to the degree that it was until yesterday. And I was like, there's drive-bys going on in the conscious community, in the pseudo-conscious community. Drive-bys. Listen, I'm gonna keep my distance and stay in my lane. I'm gonna stay in my lane. Yeah, you stop giving energy? Absolutely. Listen, I'm on my lane to ascension. I won't even stop at 7-Eleven. I'm not stopping at 7-Eleven for a Slurpee. I'm not stopping. Matter of fact, I got my Starbucks when I took this trip. So I started off my journey. I got my coffee when I started, before I even got in the car, and I'm on my way. There is a name. I have enough gas. Remember, before I started my journey, I got my coffee. I got my gas. My tank is full. I got all my goodies. My little ones are safe. Everybody's buckled in. We on the straight path. I'm staying on the straight and narrow path. I'm straight ahead. That's it. Yeah, you already know Tommy Sotomayor. He's diabolical. I'm staying on my path. There's people like waving and stuff. Road rage. I'm staying. I've collapsed timelines. I'm on that. I'm okay to be in my lane. I'm gonna stay in my lane. I saw that yesterday. I was like, oh, it's bad, family. Like I said, for me to say that, normally, they all fuss amongst each other. They all fuss amongst each other. But this one, someone's gonna lose a life or a tooth, because it's gotten so bad where you're seeing, it's just, when people are giving each other's address and they have children in the house, and people gave someone else's home address with their family out to social media, allowing for all kinds of weirdos to come to their house, that's crazy. Yeah. Melanie says she has no friends. Listen, Melanie, and this isn't the time to try to make new ones. It's good if you have the same frequency. And you'll know because they'll come in your alignment. Like even when I'm sitting down, and this is beautiful because even when I sat down and Thomas called me and we had coffee, you see how I did the test. I wasn't even checking the mic. My girlfriend comes, Lisa, who's friends with my daughter, and she said, and she's in love. She's enamored. They're twin flaming. I'm okay with the frequency of love. I appreciate. I love seeing love show up. I love seeing it. I appreciate when I see people make wonderful friendships and liaisons that are healthy. I'm all for that. I'm okay with that. So I'm okay with that in my life, and I'm okay seeing that. But when you start seeing the insidiousness of what's going on out there, now I appreciate seeing also justice happen as well. I'm seeing justice being, because a lot of times, to be honest, family, I think for many of us, and I'm speaking for all of us, because I'm speaking, but I just thought for a while, like we've seen a lot of people do some heinous things. Maybe globally, we've seen people do heinous things. We've seen people in our lives do personal heinous things and we hadn't seen any karma come to them. So you say to yourself like, wow. But my mother told me one thing. She only said this several times to me until I finally got it, but I became more seasoned. She said, don't you ever compromise who you are to show someone that they did you wrong. She said they will figure it out based on what happens to them. She said, because I used to be like, Mommy, they did this to me. She was like, you don't get back at them. That would lower who you are. You're becoming more like them. You walk away with your dignity and your self-respect, and you do well in your life. You will see. My mother's a seasoned woman. Remember, she's in her, she's 76 now, 77 now, 77. She said, you will see. She had a chance to see that every person had done wrong to others or herself. She watched and she said, you will feel sorry for them when it happens. You won't want to wish them unwell based on how the universe, she didn't say the universe, but she said how it shows up in their lives. You don't have to do things to people. So that's why a lot of times you won't ever see me be venomous. My mother taught me that. And she's absolutely right, because in my years on this planet, I've noticed that every time someone's done something wrong, you may not see it right away. See, it depends on the type of dirt they did. The bigger the crimes, the more it lets them build up to knock them down. So people who do little petty crimes, petty karma crimes, like I've done, some of you have done, little petty things, I get my karma back right away. If I do anything naughty, even if I think something naughty, bam, I get the karma immediately. I get it like a smack in the face. You ever spit in the wind, the wind hits it in your face? That's the kind of karma I get. I spit out in the wind and it splashes in my face. I get it instantaneously. I've known people who did dastardly things, and then years later, when they were comfortable and warm in their bed, that joint came back like a mask, ski mask with a machete in the house. It's to the point where I was like, oh my gosh, you didn't even want that for them. Because you have to know that your karma is what you do. What you do. That's why I say it doesn't matter if someone hates you and does something mean to you. It's how you react to it. It's how you react to it. You don't have to go back and forth with someone. That's why I say there are people who leave my life, I sever out of my life. I don't have to argue with them. I don't want to be a party to you because I don't like how you treat me. I don't like how you're non-respecting of me. And I have a right as a human being to have peace of mind in my life around myself and my children. So if I choose for you to be out of my life because I want to be happy and I want to be safe, then if you're not respecting that, that's on you. If someone honors you and respects you, they will do things in honor and respect of you. That's it. So karma is being instituted, family. Good and bad. So some of you will be getting presents for Christmas. Big up to all of you who are getting presents. Some of you are getting amazing presents. You wrote to Santa, Saturn. You told Saturn the things that you desired, the things that you wanted to manifest. You did your good deeds. You've been doing your yoni steams. You've been treating the planet well. You've been composting. You've been recycling. You've been good to your neighbors. You've been good to yourself. You've been drinking your green smoothies, and you've been honoring the people, places, and things around you. You have presents coming, family. Saturn's coming to give you goodies. So some of you are going to get big, huge, beautiful manifestation of abundance based on your beautiful selves. You're getting all of those wonderful things you desire. Maybe it was that you wanted to just have peace of mind and be happy and be somewhere safe and great. And all of a sudden Saturn comes, and all of a sudden that place that you always wanted by the beach becomes available and it's yours. Saturn is coming to town, family. And if you've been naughty or nice, you will know. If you don't know already, if you don't know, now you know. You will know by September 18th if you've been naughty or nice. Because it doesn't matter if we've all seen it or not. Listen, if I've been insidious behind, listen, I can make videos all day. This is why I say, family, you could tell. I can make videos all day saying that I'm enlightened. Oh, Flurburn is enlightened. I am such a wonderful being. I could lie to you all day on social media. If I've been a dirty dog, if I've been a diabolical being and I've been doing dirt, oh, by all means, it's going to show up. It doesn't matter what propaganda I put on the front street, because everything is weighed. Your soul, your heart, your frequency is already known. You can't hide from Saturn. You can't hide. It's all out. That's what I'm saying. And I don't laugh to be facetious. Let me state this. I don't laugh to be facetious. Like I tell you all the time, there isn't any perfection in Flurburn. There isn't any perfection in me. I've been there, done that. I've hurt myself in doing diabolical things to myself, not loving myself, not honoring myself, not too heinous, but like the typical young girl things, just not honoring myself. And I've done things to other people that aren't very nice. This, especially when I was young. I wasn't, like I said, Flurburn I've never been really heinous, but I've done some naughty things. And I've paid and I will pay for those things I've done every single time. It isn't righteous. So I live with a sense of healthiness. I treat people as I want to be treated. I acknowledge the things that I need to work on within myself. I make sure that I'm fair and balanced how I show up in the world, and I'm non-compromising with keeping things and people and places around me that aren't in sync with me. That's with me severing ties last week. Last week I was severing ties because I was like, you aren't in my alliance. And it's not me thinking I'm better. It's me loving myself enough to know that I deserve to be with people who are similar to myself. If I honor my body by not drinking alcohol all the time, or putting stuff in my lungs, or maybe eating crazy all the time, if I treat myself well, why would I want to be around people who don't? It doesn't make sense. That means something about me is they're shadowing aspects of myself. So if they're like that and I'm not, what does that say about me if I'm sitting well with them? Now with the collapse, those who are very different than me, that aren't doing things in self-love or in the way that I show love, they aren't in sync with me anymore. So, I keep it real. And I'm unapologetic about it now. I've learned at this point, like I said, everything in your life, from your friendships to your relationship, is a choice. It would be fake for you to be friends with people that you don't like or you don't honor. Only be with people who you honor, who honor you. The quickest way for you to know a friend, and this is how I know who's my friend or not, and that's why I said friendship is a very serious thing to me. If every time they call you, they're never asking you how you do. Hey, how you doing? And not even asking you how you're doing, but really want to know if everything's okay with you. That's a sign if you're with a friend or not. Because a lot of times, and just being Flurburn all the time, I don't always get because it depends on what they come from. That's what I'm saying. I have a very small niche of friends, very tiny. It's okay. And I love them and they love me. But if every time I speak to someone, all they do is share their journey, or they only talk about themselves or what's going on with them, I know they aren't a friend. And if they're always trying to pull for me, asking me for advice all the time, and always requiring something of me, I know they're parasitic. because parasites do that. And also you can tell a parasite because when you sever from a parasite, that's why I say anytime you notice, I love it. Anytime I sever someone like from Cypher or from my groups and I take them out of my group, how you know they're a parasite? Parasites will flip out when you take them from their feeding. So if you pull something from feeding off of you and they flip out, that tells you they were a parasite, because if it was a healthy individual, you pulling them away from you and saying, I don't really want to be a party to, they would walk away with dignity. If someone fights you or is mad because you pulled them away from you, that tells you that they were a parasite and they were getting something from you. That's also detail. Parasites will fight you if you pull them and stop feeding them. So you can tell who someone is. And if you question a friendship, maybe you don't know, pull your friendship, pull the things that you give to that relationship. Just pull it, whatever you have, not what they have. Let me keep this clear. Pull what you have, whether you call them all the time, always building them up, whether you're always going over and giving them things, maybe you're always filling them with hope, and just pull your frequency back, just your frequency. And I guarantee you can tell if they're a parasite or not. If they fight you and talk nasty about you because you pulled your energy away from them, they weren't a friend. They were a parasite. See, parasites will pretend that they're friends of yours. They'll pretend like they're pro yours, but they're only pro yours based on them being able to utilize off of you, feed off of your plate. When you pull your plate from them and they flip out, it's because they were parasiting off of what you had. That's how you tell. So right now, you shouldn't be keen to any parasites. The parasites should be pulled off of you because they have to deal with their own, they need to get their own plate. And if they're unable to get their own plate and they're parasites, they have some karmic residue that needs to be instituted. And you want to stay away from their ricochets and their drive-bys. Karmic drive-bys are happening right now. And the universe, because of the flipping and the convergence, won't allow you to be in the even the ricochet arena of those drive-bys. So when a drive-by happens karmically now, based on how the convergence is happening, and you're aligning in your total frequency, so you won't even be in alignment with somebody who's getting negative. If you're a healthy person, let me say not positive, healthy, balanced person, the collapse is going to make you more balanced and more in the straight line. So when karma drive-by comes by, you wouldn't even be in the same vicinity as somebody getting that kind of karma. You'll be so far removed from them based on the fact that you're now in your own alignment, because they're going, basically you're pulling away from them to allow for karma to be instituted. And that's a form of love too. Because if you really care about somebody, you would allow them to learn the spiritual lessons needed to upgrade their soul or their conscious state of being. Okay, by crutching, that's why I tell a lot of the wives, we've all been wives before. A lot of us have been wives and mothers, and many of us know as a wife, especially those women who've been married for a long period of time like myself, you realize that we crutch our husbands. Every time he does something bad and you make excuses for him. Or you tell people, oh, no, you know how he is. You know how Robert is. He's just like that. He just didn't get enough sleep, or he works too much. You always excused him and gave him a crutch, though he was being heinous. So now he won't be around you anymore because universe has collapsed the timelines. So you and Robert don't even sit well with him anymore, based on the fact that you were always a loving and abiding being, and you were always needing to take that beautiful energy that you were putting into others and place it into yourself. So now, without Robert around to pull and parasite off of his wife because he didn't do his own due diligence and his own work. That's why I say a lot of the males right now are dealing with a lot of karma because they were in their home court advantage. Home court is in with the matriarchy right now. Matriarchy has home. It is a fact. It is one. I told you 5 years ago when everybody thought I was crazy. 5 years ago, I told you we're getting into the matriarchal, the frequency has changed. We're out of home court advantage. The cycle has changed. We've already left the other cycle. Patriarchy is not in home court advantage. So all the males have been doing diabolical things to themselves or to the people in their lives. They aren't going to be balanced with healthy females. That's how I knew who's a healthy female, who's not. Because you have what do they call them? There are patriarchal females who are down with, you've seen them as, my mother was one of, my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law hated women. She was sleeping with a married man. She raised her kid. I blow her spot on time. She was like that. She's one of those who condones men treating probably in a past life she was probably a diabolical man because she dealt with abuse. But she was a diabolical female. She's one of those that's gonna go down with the patriarchy because she was in alignment with males doing heinous things to females, and she participated in activities of men doing heinous this to the very wife that she was violating by sleeping with someone's husband for over 10 years. Okay? When you have women like that who are out of balance with the healthiness of being a female and in violation of the sisterhood, those women have a whole other karma, and it has to do with them. Basically, they're going down with the ship of the patriarchy, the unhealthy patriarchy. That's it. That's why the thought arena who took someone's husband and messed up a family is now apologizing to the children whose lives she devastated, but that isn't going to waver from what she did because she created a life for them based on her own selfish, egregious behavior. So we all, Fleur, how does it work when your TF is married already? It will come in a righteous position. If your twin flame is married, he's going to resolve and she's going to resolve her relationship without you severing that tie, without you influencing the severing of that tie. There's a lot of twin flames now that are getting together because they left and finished they satisfied their contracts with their relationships, and they are rightfully leaving now the old relationships that they've satisfied the contract karmically, and now they're able to twin up. But that will only happen on the universal balanced by the convergence. You know, I said I personally think the convergence is happening March 11th of next year, 2020. That's why I see, you know, remember we talked about the age of Aquarius, about crystal, dark crystal. I personally think it's happening now. That's why I think the severing is happening now with all couples. I think if you aren't in twin flame arena, couples won't last. And I think it's setting you up to be with your twin flame. So don't question it. By March of next year, you should be with your twin flame. That's my projection. Let's see if it happens. I love it. I want to see if it happens. I'm making a call. We'll see if it happens. But so you're seeing people sever ties. So if your twin flame is with someone who's married, they will sever ties on their own accord based on the fact that they satisfied their contracts. That won't be for you interacting or interceding in that or causing him or her to leave their family. That isn't righteous. When you intercede in someone else's family dynamics and you cause their family to be splintered, you incur a huge karmic debt that will not just stay with you, it will stay with your children. Okay? And it may end up having to be satisfied in another lifetime or two, depending on how unsavory you are or unaware you are. So you can love your twin flame, and if they are with someone else, they will resolve it. And if it's in alignment with exactly what I think with the convergence, they won't be able to be with someone who is out of sync with them. And, you know, we don't have to just talk about it, we can see it. Which before I didn't see as much as this. Now you're seeing it. So it's going to be interesting how everything, like I said, we haven't seen, and I say we, because it was not me. It's not just me. I haven't seen, even Paola was talking about this, and she's still in Brazil. She was talking about, she was talking about the same thing. We're both women of a certain age. We haven't ever seen so many people at one time. It hasn't happened. Usually you see people break up every once in a while. You know, sometimes you see them, you know, people break up and they get back together. No. We're starting to see a collective consensus of all people who were couples that we've known, because we know couples. I know married couples for years. Remember, I'm a woman. I've lived on this planet for a while. I've seen people when I got married who are still married, who aren't married anymore. So now this is happening. The convergence has literally caused a residual effect with Saturn coming into home. Santa's coming home. And because of the collapsing, the way Saturn's shown up in all of the other permeations of those timelines, that's why the karma is coming back so strong. Because whatever you were doing in the other timelines, diabolical, good, whatever the general consensus was, you're going in the straight and narrow line. But that's why I say, who you are at your core will always reverberate reverberate. I can't even say reverberate. Try to say it 10 times, reverberate. I can't even say it. It throughout the other timelines. The difference is now is we're collapsed on top of each other. So now there isn't any other timelines for that to reverberate into. So now whatever you generally are, your oversoul, the zest of your soul, the general consensus of how your soul shows up, that's why the residual from the karma will be stronger, because it's all the Saturn in every timeline showing up at once. Okay? Showing up at once. Saturn's coming. Santa's coming. Some people will win lotteries. This is what I'm saying. If you've been the type of soul that has been so, because who you are at your core is who you are in all timelines. I've showed up in my timeline very similar to who I am now. The same heart space. I can feel it. The same heart that I've had has gone through all different timelines, and it shows up because now as I've converged and it's still converging on top, I can feel the love in all those timelines that showed up really balanced. I can feel it. And I can feel I feel like the versions of myself that were more loving of self. Like I felt like I loved myself in the timeline we just left. But I felt like with the convergence, the general consensus of Flurburn is that I loved myself so much more in some of these other timelines than in this one. So that even with my little ones, I've talked about this. I'm looking at my little ones like I've seen them for the first time. There were versions of myself that did not have children and wanted babies. Because I think I told you I had a problem getting pregnant with my ex. For 6 years we were married. And I know it was probably because of him, but I couldn't have children. And I was really, really sad because I love babies. It's what I was always meant to be as a mother. It's what I craved to be as a little girl. We come from a Creole family. That's big for us. I love babies. My mother loves babies. We're very motherly type of beings. So could you imagine the feeling that I had not being able to have children in those other timelines? So those versions of myself who didn't have children, who wanted them, she's merged with me and she's so in love with the babies. I look at my little girls like almost I saw them for the first time. Even when they do little naughty little things, like I'm looking at them like a mother who didn't realize, like who met her children for the first time. I'm in love with them more than ever. And it's the convergence. That's how I know it's actually the convergence. Because those parts of me who wanted children are now converging. And also there's a little boy who's running around in my dream state and in my house with vibration. So he's coming around too. So I apparently had a son as well, a little boy. Remember, I lost a little boy. So the little boy is in other timelines. So he's coming in residuals. So don't be shocked. Florban has a son. I welcome a healthy boy. Yeah, it's just a children party. Yeah. So it's a versions of yourself, or the version of yourself that was like some of you were cooks. There was one sea star I know. She always wanted to be a chef. Listen to this. It's cool. It's a cool story. She always wanted to be a chef, right? So she didn't get a chance because her parents didn't think it was practical. She came from a West Indian family. They didn't think it was practical. They wanted her to be a lawyer. Okay. So she became a lawyer. So my girlfriend's a lawyer. She always wanted to be a chef. Don't you know that she is taking a month sabbatical and she's going into Jamaica to take a raw chef retreat to go cook? I'm so happy for her. Listen to me, family. Her whole life, remember, because we have typical West Indian family, right? So West Indians are real funny, especially if they come to the country. They want their children to succeed and have the matriarchal, like the matrix jobs, like doctor, lawyer. They want them to be the most successful. And it's just how it is in island families. Many of you who have island families, you know that. It's like they want you to be like everything for the family. And she did that. She's an excellent attorney. She took a sabbatical. I wouldn't even think she could do this. I didn't even think she would. And she just told me one day, this was after the convergence. Listen, family, this was Saturday. She calls me and says, and she was like, because I was going to go to New York. She's in New York. And I was like, I may come up to New York. She was like, no, don't come. I was like, why? I was like, what, are you getting married? She said, no, I'm going to Jamaica to go cook. I said, what? She said, yeah, I'm taking like 2 months off, a sabbatical, and I'm going to go cook at this raw retreat, and I'm going to learn how to make all these raw foods and so. I was like, what? This is crazy. I was like, what's happening to your place? She said she's subletting her place while she goes. I am so happy for her. I was crying because she said I was being really, she said I was really being like really over the top. She's like, stop crying for God's sake. She doesn't like when I get, she's very stern. She doesn't like when I get all fuddy-duddy. She calls it fuddy-duddy. She's like, stop it already. She was like, I always wanted to do this. I was like, what made you do this? She was like, your stupid convergence. I love it. I love it. Big up to my homegirl. I love you. I'm so happy for you. I plan to come. Maybe this will be my excuse to go take a flight to Jamaica. I want to cry now. I love her so much. She's one of the most amazing attorneys. She's a wonderful person. She has a beautiful heart. She's always done for her family. Like, she's always doing stuff for her family, like a pro bono. That's how. She's always doing for other people. She rarely does stuff for herself. Like, she always feels guilty for doing anything for herself. Big up to her for choosing herself and converging with the version of herself that actually went to chef school when we were kids. And now she's doing it. And I big up to her. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I hope she writes a book on the recipes. I know one of the chefs that's up there. Big up to Chef Olive, who actually taught me to do some raw dishes too. Big up to Chef Olive. She's gonna actually, Chef Olive is down there, and there's another chef that's down there. So big up to her. And I know she's, there's something else that she wanted. I'm not gonna darn her. Okay, so there's something else that she wanted, and she hasn't done yet. And I think she's gonna get pregnant when she's down there. Don't tell her. Shh. Don't tell her I said that, because she'll be like, why are you saying that? You don't know her name. Don't say it. I think she's going to get pregnant, because I saw, shh. It's like I'm whispering like she's here. Listen, I saw her with a little boy years ago. Like, I had a dream about her with a little son. I did, with like a albino looking guy, like a very fair skinned looking guy. I don't know. Maybe he's in the islands too. But I saw her son. He's a cutie. It's like his name was Isaac in the dream. I dreamt it years ago, but I saw them on a beach. Maybe she's gonna get knocked up and not come home. I'm excited. She'd be an amazing mother. Like that. That's somebody who should be a mom. She isn't a mom. So big up to my sister. Don't tell her. Don't tell her I said it. Don't tell her I said it to her. I love her so much. This is what I'm saying, family. Be in your frequency. It's all good in the hood. I'm excited to see each one of your journeys. I'm happy. Listen, I'm not happy in a fake way. I'm really grateful. I'm grateful to see it, because when you shine, I shine. When I see you shine, it makes me happy. And that's why I say I always wish well to everyone. I don't care if people don't like me or if I'm not faring with them. I always want someone to do well, because the better we do consciously is the better in how we upgrade the planet, upgrade with the planet. So I only want success for each one of you, and I will only accept it. So, just keep you doing your thing and let the convergence happen as it may. And when Saturn comes, for all of you, I already know a lot of you are getting presents. I already know a lot of you are getting presents. I do. A lot of you are getting presents from Santa Claus. You're going to get amazing gifts. Like I said, some of you might win the lottery. Some of you might just, like her, take a sabbatical in Jamaica. I forgot she was taking a sabbatical in Jamaica. When she said it, like, family, I'm still bugging out. When your girlfriend, and I told her, did you do the flight already? She said, yeah, she just did it. After I just called her, and she just did the flight. She was like, you read me. But she calls me a fuddy-duddy, because she thinks, I just want to hug and kiss her and tell her I'm so happy. So it's going to be amazing. And she has family down there too. So she gets a chance to see her father, because her father's family's down there, and she never gets to see them. And it's kind of cool, because she has a lot of family there. So she actually gets to spend time with her father's family. You see this? The convergence is no joke. Maybe she's in Jamaica in another timeline. This is awesome. And I'm going to eat all her food. I'm going to eat all her fruit. I'm going to eat everything. I told her I'm going to eat. I love food. And darn Skippy, if she's going to Jamaica to a raw foodie, it's not just raw food. Like, she's doing another one, but I love the raw food. I'm talking about the raw food. Because I did the course with, I did the teaching class. I did one of the classes with Chef Olive, who's a Jamaican raw chef. After I did the fast, many of you know I did the raw fast. This was years ago. I think you guys know. When I did the first green fast I did, or the second, after I broke fast, it was the, how many days? It was 21 days fast. Remember the 21-day fast? I broke fast with Chef Olive. And she was amazing. She was here in Orlando. If you ever get a chance, She did the, you know how you make, my girlfriend loves this. My Puerto Rican girlfriend loves this. Remember that? Warrior knows. This is years ago. Many of you have been with me for a while. So remember I broke fast with the raw, it was Chef Olive, and she was the one who made the plátano salad that I love to this day. My girlfriends love when I make my plátano salad. You guys see me make it sometimes on live. The plátano salad was the fresh plátanos with the like the lime juice and the chives and oh my, I'm blowing her spot, right? I love her. She deserves it. She needs to get big up. You know, a lot of times, like I said, she busted her butt. She went to law school. She was always a self-sacrificer. She does everything for everyone else. She deserves to have big ups. She loves it when I do. She does. But I want everyone to send her well wishes because I'm just so proud of her that she would even do that. She's like a stringent attorney. She makes a lot of dough. You know what I mean? For her to take a sabbatical, and it's more than a month. I don't know if it's like what'd she say? It's more than a month. For her to do that is awesome. Is awesome. So I love her for just loving herself. She deserves it, and I want her happy. And I hope to see, what is it, Isaiah or Isaac, her son. I hope she does get pregnant and be happy because I definitely I want to be the midwife. I don't know how to be a midwife. I want to be the midwife or be pregnant with her. Maybe we'll be pregnant together. Like I said, don't tell her. Some of you are friends from high school. You know who I'm talking about. Don't tell her. Anyway, family. So anyway, so I'm midway. Wait, I'm gonna be a doula. I'm gonna be talking smack, trying to give her snacks when she's trying to give birth. It's a crazy thing. So everyone, you know, be mindful. There's nothing we could do. Whatever vibration you're in, just take note of the collapse. As the collapse is happening, you're gonna notice little versions of yourself. Take note of the scar, like any marks showing up on your body. Big up to Carlos. Carlos is not on here. I wanted to tell Carlos, like this one. Oh, where is it? Here. The burn, this burn I got here on the grill, but in the other version of myself, this was done on a stove. So pay attention to any marks showing up on your body. Remember my nega, for those walking in, remember I had nega hair coming in, my silver hair, it's going away. So in the other timelines, I didn't dye my hair. Many of you know you would know if I dyed my hair because you wouldn't see this anymore. The sun-kissed part of my hair. My hair's a little messy now, but I was starting to get nega, right? And it's going away. My nega is disappearing. So whatever version of myself didn't have the silver hair, she doesn't have, apparently more versions of myself didn't have the silver hair. So now the timelines that are merging, my hair is becoming more dark again, like a dark color. Like my original, actually the texture of my hair is starting to reserve. My texture of my hair is getting more curly again. I used to have really curly hair. Not curly, but curly wavy hair. And when you see me pregnant, a lot of times how you know when I'm pregnant, I shouldn't tell you that. When I'm pregnant, my hair gets really wavy. It's actually I love when it's like, Carlos, there you go. You were just thinking that? Yes, it's a convergence. So it's the stigmatas coming on our body from other timelines. Yeah, so yeah, when this version of Fleur Brune, my hair is getting curly again. I had really curly hair and I had my silver before. So my hair is starting to straighten out as I get a little more seasoned because it kind of thins out. But now my hair is getting thick again and I'm getting rid of for some reason, whatever the convergence is, they don't have silver hair. So pay attention, take notes so you don't think you're crazy. That's another thing to make sure, because people are like, how do we know it's real? This is how you know things are tangible. And if you've known me for years, this is one thing, I'm the best researcher. And it's what I focused in as a young person. When you want to know if something's legitimate and you want to vet it out, I'm big on vetting things out because sometimes it could be your imagination. It could be you just being overzealous in a topic or hearing somebody else's, opinion. So you take it on as your own. So rather than do that, document. You heard me say this 50 million times. When you document, you actually have a physical log that you can mentally go back to and vet things out so that you can literally legitimize if something's real or fact. Just document. So if not for anything, you say, okay, Fleur Brune is saying this is happening. It may be happening, but if you can't vet it out for yourself, you can't take my word for anything. Okay, you take my word for what I bring to you and you can say, okay, I respect how she shares it, but I need to know it for facts for myself. Always vet things out. You could hear things from any YouTuber, anything. Always legitimize it based on how you feel things out. It's very necessary. That keeps you conscious, that keeps you aware, and it keeps you respecting your own legitimacy and how you take on information, okay? Because multitude of different type of YouTubers, everybody has their own experiences. I share things from more so I just share from a Sagittarius. Sagittarius, you know, we like to, Sagittarius, we share everything. Sagittarius, one thing, at least you could understand. I'm a triple Sag. So we already have tactless mouths. I'm really behave myself. We have tactless way. We say the truth even if it's not appropriate. Okay. So I try my best to be appropriate in when I share, but I'm just saying so I'll always tell you things based on what's going on, based on how I feel. Your hair is curly and long. Has it changed? Yeah, my hair is changing texture. It's getting more curly again, which I'm okay with. And and my grays are just going away. They're going away. So anyway, so if you've been, okay, so let me do my PR again. For anyone who's been removed from my life, who's on here, who dislikes me, let me make this, because, you know, people get upset with me for whatever reason. We aren't friends. We weren't friends. You don't like me. So you shouldn't care that I don't want to be friends with someone who doesn't like me. If I've removed you from Cypher, from groups, from my life, anywhere, I wish you well, but we are in sync. I have zero negative thoughts to you for your family. I wish your family well. I wish you to experience what is necessary for your own spiritual growth, but we're out of sync. So I'm keeping it real. I just be grateful that I'm not keeping someone around that I don't like. That would be fake. And be grateful that I know that that's how you feel and I'm addressing it rather than just letting you be and letting you do whatever you do, and then we have a bigger issue. Okay, so I wish everybody well. Because I already know. Yeah, I'm unapologetic. Flurburn is merged with all the Flurburns. Thank you, Leia. Thank you. You got visions of Santa Claus on mushrooms? Ideas. Ooh, that's probably because it's Saturn. Santa is Saturn. That's all that is. We use all the names like Jesus is the sun. That's literally the sun, the celestial figure. You know, when you talk about, you know, the three kings, that's really serious. The 3 stars. We put people names on people that are actually celestial energies. So we bring them into physicality and give them an idol, like a physical form, like an avatar, but it's really celestial bodies. Okay, so the sun is the sun. Literally the sun, you know, you know, when you talk about any, you know, talk about Pluto, every energy has a Saturn is Santa. So if you're dreaming about, if you had a trip with Santa, that could be your connection to Saturn. And it could be however that trip was with the mushrooms, if it was a good trip or bad trip, like Santa is, did you do good or naughty? That would tell you how Saturn will show up for you. Okay. A lot of Capricorns, because Saturn was in your house, it returned because it went out of Sagittarius, depending on if you're going in Vedic astrology or whatnot. But it left Sagittarius and it's in Capricorn. A lot of Capricorns are having health issues, including my mother, remember? As soon as Saturn started to come around into Capricorn, that's when my mother had health issues. So because Saturn is going in their house and it has to resolve, it has to upgrade them. So it has to let them see from a level, because remember, Capricorns are grounded. They're very, Capricorns are wonderful in business and doing things, you know, as far as like, you know, in the way their vision of doing, I love doing business with Capricorns. Yeah, I love to. Capricorns are who you do business with because of the way that they see things and how grounded they are in that position. But they're dealing with a lot of health issues. So a lot of Capricorns are dealing with physical ailments in order to make them see from a different perspective. So it isn't anything to be afraid of, because I had Capricorn. Remember, I had Capricorn for a long time in Sagittarius. Woo! Capricorn was with us to the point where we were just like, all right, I'm just throw my hands up and surrender to Saturn, because basically I had to throw my hands up to Saturn because Saturn was just in it heavy. Okay, so because Capricorn is a physical sign, such a earth sign, they'll be affected physically. So yeah, so Saturn. Hey Pavel, yeah. So Saturn is coming to Santa Claus is here. I'm not gonna play the song for you again because I don't know if you guys like my song. Saturn is your seventh house and Gemini. Ooh, interesting. What's the seventh house represent again? Refresh me. You have Saturn and Sag. Oh, that's gonna Saturn and Sag, so it may affect your travel, the way that you take in intel, how you learn things, right? So it'll be interesting having for those having leg issues. Oh, okay. So let me say this before. If anyone's coming in the house, please put a like on the video. I appreciate it if you put a like on the video to show me that you're resonating with the information I share. What I was saying with the leg issue, mine was resolved after that fast, y'all. So remember I was telling you I came back and my feet were killing me. They were hurting. And then remember Pisces represents the feet, right? We talked. Ooh, I just got a humming in my ear. We also had a lot of earthquakes. So our foundation was being rocked. Remember, feet have to do with foundation. So a lot of our feet and our knees were hurting based on the foundation being unstable. So remember, we're going into the age of Aquarius. We haven't entered it yet. So it had to do a lot of that. So when I did the fast, remember we did that fast only for a week? It was like a fruit fast, a fruitarian high fruit fast with the water. And I did the bamboo water, the bamboo charcoal water. It went away. So I did the high fruit fast. Remember, many of you joined me. I don't know who joined me on that one. We did the high fruit fast, and I stopped eating everything, just fruit, high fruit, like cherries, mangoes, anything from the high part of the tree. And then we just did water, and I did the charcoal water, the bamboo charcoal water with it for like all those days. And my feet went back to normal. My ankles went back to normal. So it could be something like that. You have to balance your foundation because feet is foundation. It means the foundation was Waverly. And on this planet, everything is imbalanced, as you see. Do you want to do, we can always do, I love fasting. I love doing, I like the raw fasting because it's, you know, I don't do it too often. But no, I actually used to do it all the time. But I'm basically a fruitarian. I'm a Waverly fruitarian. Someone said, what are you? I said, I'm a Waverly fruitarian. That's what I am. I'm a Waverly fruitarian. Because I come from island people, we do a lot of fruit. We do a lot of fruit. And we don't do sweet fruit like here in Americas. We do more bitters. Like I like bitter fruits. Those are better for you, right? So it's better for you. Sorry about that. I'm here. I'm sorry. So when it cuts off, I don't really know when it does. I'm sorry about that. What were we talking about before I got cut so lovely cut off? Oh, we're talking about fast. I'm sorry about that. I'm here. This is my thing about being holistic and how I think. I used to really be stringent on certain things, and I found that I was imbalanced with my body. I'm more so imbalanced with being a Waverly anything. Like I love being, times I love being a fruitarian, times I love being a vegetarian. There are only moments I like being a vegan. Vegan is a little stringent, and I feel I get sick a lot of times if I'm too much of a vegan. I feel I get sick a lot of times if I'm too much of a vegan too often, especially if it's in raw based or if it's too raw based, like with greens, because the greens will make you sick if you're eating too much. I love bitter fruits. I do. That's why I say most people be like, oh, fruitarianism, you're getting too much sugar. We get a lot more bitters. Like I do bitters, and not all fruit for us. Like, you know, a wonderful fruit that, you know, breadfruit, when I did the first bat, I love breadfruit. I do love grapefruit. I love grapefruit. I like mangoes. I don't like the sweet mangoes. I like the Adolphe mangoes that are from my Caribbean island. I do love cherries. I'm getting over my cherries. I love Guinups. They don't do Guinups as much anymore. I love Guinups. Many of you call them, we call them Canips. They're either called Canips. In Spanish, they're called Canipas. And Guinups are called that in Jamaica. So Jamaica, you guys call them Guinups. We call them Canips, or they're called Canipas. Okay, those are, my little one loves it. I can't find any Guinups lately. And no one has a tree. I don't know where the trees are. I was searching. Uh-oh. Are you guys getting buffering? Because some are seeing me and some aren't. It's buffering. It's buffering? Why is it doing that? It's frozen. Interesting. Why is it doing that? Okay, am I back? Okay. I was sitting here. I didn't see any buffering on my side. You guys saw it on your side. Interesting. I was in probably the timelines converging. Whenever you have timelines converging, kind of like that. Yeah, bitters are the best thing, and bitters get rid of parasites. You know, I used to give. There's a thing called jaban. In a lot of Jamaicans give it to them. They give them bitters, like in a sap, and you take it. You take bitters in. Gets rid of parasites in your stomach, your gut. You know, you do things like that. I'm more balanced in that way. I raise flexitarians. You got to be careful because there's an agenda, a vegan agenda, and the vegan agenda is simply to make you more susceptible to the nanotubes. And I shared that video with the young lady. I'm not going to go in here because I want my video. They probably knew what I was about to talk about when I talk about food, but the vegan agenda is real, and it's more diabolical than what you think. That agenda is wormwood is good, yeah, and black walnut. Black walnut is good. Whoever has a black walnut tree, a lot of you in the Northeast have black walnut trees, which are phenomenal. But a lot of times what you have to realize is that the vegan agenda is real and it's making you susceptible. Like I shared the woman's video in my community. Remember? I don't want to say too much about the words she used, but I agreed until the end. Someone said, did you agree? I agreed with everything. I've told you for years that there were nanotubes under your skin. I told you Magellan's was all the nanofibers coming down from the chemtrails, all metals. I told you it was going underneath your skin, replicating with the blue field on your phone. We've already discussed this. I told you to get the blue shield blocker on your phone, which helps these nanotubes to replicate. That's why they give everybody a remote control called the cell phone. That's why in the hood, they give people free cell phones. Did I tell you the other day? Were we on the feed or was I on IG? Did you know that? Did you? I just found that out. Did you know that, guys? Did you know that they give free cell phones to people in the hood? Now, this is why I say to people who get after me, because a lot of the vegans, the vegan Nazis, they're mentally ill anyway. A lot of the vegan Nazis are mentally ill because they're not getting enough subsistence, okay? Because they're illegally vegan. They're illegal vegans. There are people who are illegally vegans, meaning that they're illegal vegans because they only joined veganism because they followed the wave. The people I know who were eating like this, they did it for animal rights and so on. This is back in the days. The illegal vegans came in because it became popular on social media and it was being propagated by every celebrity. So these are illegal vegans. These aren't natural vegans. These are people who only do it because it's socially acceptable right now and it's being promoted. See, many of you knew me years ago when I was that way and I didn't have to promote it because it's who I was. And I was doing it because I love animals. Okay, so it's a little different when you get illegal vegans because they're mentally ill. And if you know, most sociopaths and most serial killers are vegans as well. You do know that, right? Okay, so because of the mind control. AI can easily mind control a vegan because they have nanobots in them. Based on all those little crystals on top of the green leaves. We talked about all this they shut down my whole show. The little crystals, those little crystals on top of your greens that you chew. And then along with the Magellans, the little nanofibers coming and going underneath your skin. And it goes underneath your skin, causing hives and rashes. That's a form of Magellan's. That's your body rejecting the nano fibers, and then it goes underneath your skin, and then it replicates, creating nanotubes via your cell phone. So that's why they're giving all the hood cell phones. I was like, oh snap! See, whenever they're promoting something, family, you know that there's a reason for it. You shouldn't trust anything that they promote. They're promoting veganism. Why do they care about your health? They put fluoride in your water. They put soy in everything. Why would they care of you being healthy or vegan? If vegan was such a healthy lifestyle, why are they promoting it? Because it's allowing you to be AI available. So he said in the video, if you look in the community, to add a little bit of borax to spike up your pH. I disagree. As a researcher, I know that the reason why people are getting replications of nanotubes and being hijacked is because veganism spikes the alkalinity. Alkalinity, along with the blue fields on your phone, along with the nanotubes, allows for more susceptibility to hijacking your brain. Like the zombie snail. There are people being hijacked. There's a movie right now called, what is it called? Something, it talks about the bugs taking over like body snatchers. That's how they get away with it. So bentonite clay, yep, charcoal, drinking the charcoal. That's why my feet felt better. As soon as I did the charcoal water, I couldn't drink it every day because I got to be careful about I have to be careful about messing up your gut because you have certain gut bacteria. If you drink too much charcoal every day, it messes with your gut bacteria. I know that. So I don't want to mess with Brooklyn. Brooklyn Vegan. Brooklyn Vegan was on Brooklyn Vegan was on my IG right now. He's laughing. I threatened Brooklyn Vegan. He was crazy. He got mad at me. He was like, "You're obese. You're fatty." I was like, "Come to the conference. See how much a fatty I am." Big up to Brooklyn Vegan. He got so heinously upset. It's just like bodybuilders. See, this is when people aren't rational. Flurburn is rational. I lived on the planet. This is why you should listen to your granny and your mother and your father and your uncles, because they lived on the planet long enough. This is the crazy thing. I've seen people who are weight builders. Every weight builder, weightlifter, listen to this. Every weightlifter that I know who lifted for more than 10 years all have back surgery, shoulder surgery, kneecaps replaced, everything. See, when you've lived long enough on the planet, that's why you got to listen to some of your elders' family. I'm not quite an elder yet, but I have elderly information. They all have problems later on from doing things that were motivated or propelled in society. Remember when, let's get physical, I want to get, you see all these bodybuilders, oh, push it, I'm strong, 300, you know all those men that did that? They all have shoulder surgery. They all have knee problems. They're all getting kneecaps replaced. It's unnatural. When you go to extremes, there is always going to be a physical consequence. That's why you have to stay balanced. Do I think veganism is negative? Absolutely zero. But do I think it's something you should do long term? I think you should question that based on the fact that many of you don't live that life. You don't come from an ancestry who lived that kind of lifestyle. You wouldn't be able to live that way for a long period of time unless you have some depreciation. Everybody's texting me at the same time. You see how AI works? Everybody's texting me at the same time. As soon as I start talking about veganism, Brooklyn Vegan texts me, people are texting me out of the blue. Listen, AI, can't stop, won't stop. Just because you're propagating something doesn't mean people are stupid. There are many people on this feed that are quite savvy to your agenda. And the only reason you get away with it, AI, is because you're infiltrating their brain through the nanobots that you're permeating in through their skin. Now, family, if you don't get a chance, because I'm not getting my YouTube, I'm keeping my YouTube up. But I told you about lead and the demonization of lead. I can't say it on this feed because I already know, because last time I upgraded 2 videos and I can't do it on YouTube. It's on my Patreon. I'm not saying you should register to my Patreon. That's the only place I talked about it. There's a reason why they don't want lead around you. Watch, and I try to give you a hint with Night of the Comet movie. Remember I put Night of the Comet? I gave you the movie. That's all I'll say. I don't want to. You telepathically read my mind. Uh-oh. Is it buffering? Oh, shoot. Tell me, is it buffering? Hopefully it isn't. Am I on here? Okay. I gave you a hint. I want 0 problems. It's not buffering? Okay. Thank you. Like I said, I shared it separate on the platform. You can watch the movie, and if you know me, which you do, you know what I'm talking about. Just watch the movie, and I just told you something. So all I'm saying, family, is that the vegan agenda is setting you up for. There are people who. That's all I told you. There are illegal vegans right now, and they're crazy. They're literally mind crazy. They are mentally ill, based on the fact that they have nanobots all in their brains. They've been hijacked just like the zombie snail, and they aren't even there anymore. They aren't. They are, look at Nature Nut. They're all vegans. Look at Nature Nut. How easy you know why most cults make people go vegan? Because it allows for more susceptibility to mind control. Okay? You could look that up. Okay, they want you to be a vegan right now, not a vegetarian. It would be more natural if they said for you to be a vegetarian, and they certainly won't tell you to be a fruitarian. They won't ever say to you, you don't see anyone calling you a fruitarian. Have you ever seen anyone say, oh, I'm a fruitarian? Why? Because they need the greens in you. It's not the fruit, it's the greens. The high fruit is not getting the leaching. The tree leaches out the metals. You aren't going to get much unless it's on the surface. And usually the harder the skin of the fruit is, the less likely it gets incepted by metals, okay, or any sort of bots coming from the sky. But anything that comes directly out of the soil I grow, remember, I'm a farmer, I'm a everything. I farm, the soil leaches bots out of it, and it's got those crystals on it too. Keep watch Body Snatchers. I'll make you Soy Legend. Do you mean Soy Legend? Soy Legend's another movie too, when they're putting human flesh and meat. That's another movie. Soy Legend, when they're actually putting, okay, so we have, and this is why I say, family, that's why I tell you to be balanced, because you have corpsetarians. Corpsetarians are people who eat corpses. That's all they eat is corpses. They eat dead flesh that has been dead for 6 weeks plus. Okay, so that's a corpsetarian. You aren't or a fleshitarian, but that's a corpsetarian. Okay, because even we know that natives who used to hunt, healthy people who hunt, or animals who hunt, eat their food directly at the same time. Okay, directly at the same time that they kill it. So you absorb the energetic, you absorb the iron, you enjoy the life force. That's what animals do. Hunters used to do that. But most people are consuming flesh that is dead for 6+ weeks. So people who are vegans always get on me like this. What are you promoting people to eat dead animals? No, you're supposed to eat live things. We're parasites. The fact that you have to eat means you're a parasite. You parasite off of other things. You gain energy off of eating. So everything on this planet is parasitic. The deer that eat grass, they're parasitic. They're eating live things. The giraffes, they eat leaves off the trees, but they're not hurting it. There's a difference. They're more balanced, okay? But we aren't them. Our endocrine system isn't them. We've survived on this planet, and not everybody's of the same species. Some of them are from other planets. So you have corpsetarians who like to eat dead flesh, flesh that's dead for 6+ weeks. And then you have vegans who are depleted in all kinds of nutritional value, especially if they're, if they're illegal vegans, okay? Because they're consuming more starches, and starches block certain absorption of certain vitamins, vital vitamins. That's why long-term vegans lose their hair. They actually get jaundice in the skin. They get very thin or waif. If that's not the lifestyle. Now look at what's her name, which is beautiful. What's her name? I thought she was amazing. Oh, Christine the vegan. What is her? You guys know her name. She's very beautiful. She was a very beautiful girl. Christine the vegan. She always has these fruit smoothies. What's her name? What was her name? Christine the vegan. You know who I'm talking about. Dark hair, very olivey skin, young lady. We talked about her on IG. I forgot her name. Christina. Thank you. Full raw Christina. Look at her picture. I did this privately. Look at a picture of raw Christina 3 years ago, and then look at a picture of her now. She's aged. She's a beautiful young lady. Beautiful. Such a beautiful spirit. Now, I'm not criticizing her as a person. She's aged at least 10 or 15 years. That's a beautiful young lady. Aged. So you're going to tell me, see, this is where vegans don't come for me all the time because they're not rational. She's a young lady who promoted raw veganism. She eats raw all the time. She likes it too, and she eats other things too. She's healthy in a way that she likes to eat a lot of raw. She looks like she's aged at least 10 to 15 years. Because veganism isn't a natural system of consumption. You do it for bits and pieces to clear your body. Absolutely. I think veganism saves people's lives at points where they're so dense and so acidic. Yes, when you're super, super duper acidic and you eat too much fleshes and you eat too many starches or things that are archaic to your body, yes, going super alkaline will balance you out. But you can't be too alkaline nor too acidic. You're supposed to be somewhere in a happy medium. You're supposed to be somewhere here. So your pH should not be blood-wise 9 because it makes you susceptible to nanotechnology and Morgellons and all that kind, not Morgellons, because Morgellons is the rejection of nanotubes, but it makes you more balanced, okay? That's what it does. It makes you more balanced. But if you go to extreme either way, that's what I'm saying. The matrix will promote extreme behaviors to make you imbalanced. Because when you're not in the middle, you're going to have problems. You're going to have problems. All native groups on this planet were either fruitarians with a little pescatarianism, or they ate some fleshes that they hunted for immediately. Okay? But most of them ate from the land. Now, only time you didn't have them eating directly from the vine is if they were for colder regions. Colder regions, generally, they tend to parasite off of fish. Like the Eskimos, you see, they like the blubber off of fish and seals. They eat more of that. And they had to eat things to build up, to keep themselves warm and to keep, because you burn more calories the more cold it is. Because when you're cold, you're burning your energy for fuel to keep warm. Okay, so they parasited a little more. So people from colder regions definitely aren't meant to be vegans. That I know for a fact. I don't even have to say that. If you come, oh, the Amazon burning. Somebody just sent that. I did not see that so far. So I have to, I didn't see, somebody sent, I think it was, who sent it to me? One of you guys texted to me. I didn't see, somebody said the Amazon was burning. Yes, I can't talk about it because I just saw a picture and I didn't know what it was. I saw someone tabbed it and said Amazon burning, but I didn't know what happened, where it's happening. Can someone say, where's the burning happening? Can someone tell me where? What part of the Amazon? What country? Is it Brazil? Is someone tell me about it? Let me see. Brazil? What? Oh, they coming for my home. It's, you know who's doing it, right? You know who's doing it. Yeah. It's because there's a lack of balance and everything's being rebalanced. Yeah. It's because of that. Whenever you start seeing the Amazon going, because that shouldn't happen. The Amazon, one of the places that you won't see burning is because it's so moist there. I was over there. It's very moist in Brazil, especially near the Amazon. It's very extremely moist. It's a rainforest, so you rarely see it. It's not torturing. Even when it's very, very hot there, everything's moist. So the fact that it's burning means that the diabolical ones, that is a personal ricochet. For some reason, somebody vindictively did that to purposefully to warn somebody. That was a ricochet towards something or someone who they wanted to show to go against, because the Amazon is necessary for our oxygen to be the way it is. With the imbalance of the Amazon, it's going to cause more ripples of imbalance in this side, because we feel whatever happens in the rainforest over there affects how we show up here. Because remember, it's a direct opposite of us. So the fact of the matter is, that's our oxygen source. If they're burning the Amazon, that's purposefully done. Like I said, I've been over there. It's very moist. Someone torched that purposefully, maybe to cause a rippling over effect. Okay, that might be a testament, because there's a lot of political upheaval going on over there, and they're trying to get rid of the indigenous in the forest, because there's many indigenous groups still in the rainforest there. There are many different variances of indigenous there. Some of the groups that I met up with, you've seen pictures with me on Instagram with, because some of the groups I just look like, it's beautiful to go to a part of a country where you look like the people I felt at home, but they're burning those forests that is residual from some sort of war that's being impended. And don't be shocked that it may not be another country. It might be Brazil itself. Because remember, the president is trying to kill off the present, quote unquote president, to my knowledge, from what I heard, he is trying to kill off a lot of the indigenous that are living in those regions. I'd need to know the region so I can tell you more about it, because if I find out the region, I can tell you who is doing it and why. Because there is a region there that is very plush and beautiful, and it could be inside job from the government trying to say it's somebody else or something else did it, but personally trying to kill off those people there and trying to get them out of there so that they can take over. Because a lot of the stuff over there, you don't know, U.S. has a lot of stake in the Amazon with medication, the prescription companies, all of the prescription companies, all of the pharmaceuticals, they get all of their stuff from Brazil. Majority of the stuff that you get pharmaceutical wise comes from Brazil. Even when I went to a place, it's called the rubber trees are beautiful. The rubber trees, you don't realize rubber comes from trees. And they have places where it's a whole forest of rubber trees. That's it. I saw the rubber trees. And all they do is utilize these rubber trees for industries in like US. So the US bought one of the car places, I forgot which one, bought a whole forest of rubber trees. And all they do is have these trees grow and kill them, you know, cut them down and kill them. Okay? So I personally think if there's a fire right now, then I personally think that this is an inside job, depending on the location, because when I was there was a huge conversation about the president not wanting the indigenous groups because he felt like he wasn't allowed to utilize these spaces for selling, or because one thing I noticed with Brazil, and this I'm gonna keep it real, a lot of the country is highly unnaturally materialistic and very unhealthy with parasiting. Like they see money equates all. They're very unhealthy in that way. They're an archaic country. They're very, I said, they're living in another time zone, another timeline. Okay, so if you're seeing it burning like that, or it could be a matter that there's just like in Avatar. Do you ever see Avatar? They wanted to burn the tree because underneath the ground there was resources. There could be minerals underneath the ground, and they're burning the forest. They know. Remember, area wise, they know what's underneath the ground. So probably they were trying to get the indigenous out of these places to get. Remember, they tried to get the Avatar. They tried to get them away from the tree. And why they did it is they wanted to blow up the tree so they could get the minerals underneath the ground. There's probably a whole bunch of minerals or gold underneath the ground. There's probably gold or something underneath those grounds, and they know it. And there's resources, so they're burning it because they saw it already, and they want to get rid of the indigenous, give them no homes, and also they want to be able to pull it because right now we're going through a shift. You know, Brazilians, like I said, the Brazilian country is very unhealthy in that way as far as monetarily. So I think if they're doing it, it's an inside job. Hold on, my batteries are going low. Oh, thank you, my love. Halle, you've been a vegan and get nightmares when you try to eat meat. I'm not saying you shouldn't try to eat meat. I don't say it like that. It's not meat. It's more, you got to be careful because meat has its own vibration, but it's an agenda. It's an agenda. Thank you, Andromeda. It's an agenda, vegan agenda. It's not saying veganism is negative. It's saying when they start pushing it, there's an agenda attached to it. That's what you got to be balanced. And I know vegans for over 30 years. And I've seen what happens when you're a vegan. I think it's nice to be a vegan every once in a while for cleaning up, just like a fast. But I think you have to bow and weave, you know, bow and weave, you know what I mean? So I think you just have to be balanced in the way that you eat. Thank you, Vicky. I appreciate it. I think you just have to be balanced in the way you eat. And also as a vegetarian, be very mindful of your absorption of minerals. And this is where I will say this, because many people are scared to get blood work. You would have to see, see how veganism is affecting you as far as blood. If you tested your blood and you knew how to read blood, see, this is when it's nice to have a lot of clinicians and your friends and your staple of friends, because you can actually test yourself and see how you're reacting to the vegan diet. Some people ignore the physical prompts because if you're young, you won't show up with any depreciation for at least a couple of years. By the time it shows up with teeth brittle, you can't do anything by the time your teeth are really brittle. Oh, they're ringing my door. Hold on, family. Hold on. I'm sorry. I went to the door. Okay. I'm sorry, family. Yeah, I had to go and answer the door. I apologize. Everybody stepped out. Now, someone says Offset. Is Offset talking about the fires right now? Is someone talking about the fires right now? Is Offset talking about the fires? What is she saying? I have to look more into the fires. But like I said, hey family, I'm sorry. I was off for a while. If she's, I want to know what she's talking about the fires. Maybe I should end my feed to listen to what she says. Like I said, I think, is she on? Yeah, she's on. She's talking about the fires. like I said, I personally think it's an inside job. And remember, I'm seasoned. This is what nice thing I want to share everyone. When you're here for a long time, for a longer time on the planet, you see everything 360 and 360 degrees. You've seen enough to know when things are similar based on what people did. So what's interesting is that whenever I see something, I can equate it to what I've already seen in history. So basically, when you see a fire happen, and I just came from the country where the firings happen, and I know the push to get off of, to get out of, the push to get indigenous off of a specific type of land base, I know that if they're trying to take people off of the land, it means that they plan to utilize that space for something, or there's something underneath the ground. And don't be shocked that the place where all of the trees are burning, that they start digging and they find gold or minerals underneath the ground, just like in Avatar. So Avatar, it talks about that. Whenever you see similarity and certain behavioral patterns and so on, I want to go see the video. So maybe I'll, yeah, I'm going to go check it out and see what she has to say. I'm just saying, I think it's something underneath the ground that they saw and they want. And I've been to Brazil, and they're very unhealthy, have an unhealthy materialistic obsession. Like they feel like they're, because a lot of people from Europe moved there. So what it is that they want to be like everyone else as far as monetarily with control. So because of that, they may do things personally, because again, president was trying to get natives off of a land. All of a sudden, Brazil and the rainforest is wet. That's why you haven't seen forest fires there. It's not like you're somewhere in the Midwest where it gets really dry. In Brazil, and it's wintertime in Brazil, family. Listen to what I said. It's wintertime in the Amazon. Why would they have a fire in the middle of winter? It isn't even hot in the season. This is their wintertime. It's flipped for them. When I was there in their wintertime. So why would you have overwhelming of fires during a time where it isn't even the season and it's wet and moist? That makes me think that there's something underneath the ground that they're getting access to. That's what I think. And you'll probably see a lot of mining after that. Okay? Just, I smell it. But I'm going to be interested to see what she has to say. Sorry, family. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to hear what Asad has to say about the fires. I just saw it. Someone sent me a post. I didn't really know what it was. But it'd be interesting to see what it's about. You went to the Amazon in February. You were showing the betrayal towards mother. Aw, yeah. They utilize her. When you're in Brazil, you realize they're raping that country. They're raping it. It's the most. When I flew over Brazil and I saw how beautiful it was. Oh my God, it was breathtaking. Probably like how some of you see Africa. It was breathtaking. So green and so plush. You saw the rain. It is beautiful. And I wasn't even all the way further in Manaus where the rainforest is, and northern part of Bahia. But when you see how beautiful it is, you understand. And they are raping the resources in Brazil, raping it. Every company owns part of the forest. They're not from the country. How do you have U.S. companies owning part of the rainforest in Brazil? How do you have companies from other countries owning part of Brazil? So like I said, again, they were kicking off. The new president was trying to get rid of all the natives. Now we know why. Probably this was the last stake to try to, just like an Avatar, trying to get rid of it. So I'm going to check it out, see what's going on. We'll check it out. But thank you for listening to my rant. I want to listen to her live right now. I'm going to go listen to Asad's live and see her take on it. Be interesting to hear your take. And the conference, oh, yes, I have the conference information that will be coming on Friday. Everything, the flyers have been done. I'm just getting some other last minute things, and I will make my mass announcement on Friday. Okay, so hope to see many of you at the conference in October and November. It'd be beautiful, and we'll reconvene. Okay, so I love you. I'm gonna go check out and see what's going on with the fires. All right, peace, family, peace.